Hello friends, how are you doing? We're back with another one. Today we're going to be on Unit 6, Lesson B. So you know what that means. Lesson B is always your favorite. Grammar! Hooray! Okay, so let's get started. Grammar. Today we are going to talk about clauses of concession. So if you will open your books to page 72, we're mostly going to be talking about although clauses. Although. So you'll see here in the orange box, read along with me. We use although to connect two clauses that show a contrast. The information in one clause is surprising or unexpected because of the information in the other clause. Although, the word although goes with the information that is known or not surprising. Okay, so what does that mean? Let's look at an example. So, thinking about my own life, here's an example. True story. Although the cake looked delicious, it tasted terrible. True story. So we have two pieces of information here. You see, the first one is the cake looked delicious. The second one, it tasted terrible. So the question is, which one of these pieces of information is surprising? Think about it. Well, anyone can look at the cake and see that it looks delicious, right? So that piece of information is known or expected. But what you don't know, what most people cannot just know, you don't know that it tastes terrible, right? That's a surprise. So we have two pieces of contrasting information, and we use although to connect them into one sentence. Okay, so let's look in the book again. They have a couple more examples for us. So we have a chart. If you'll look in your book, I don't know if you can see this, but if you look in your book, we have the chart here that says known information, unexpected information, and then an example. So the first piece of known information, it takes 30 hours to drive from Denver to Los Angeles. Whoops, messed up my computer here. Uh-oh. There we go. Sorry about that. So it takes 30 hours to drive from Denver to Los Angeles. Now, I have to stop here and tell you, I looked that up on Google Maps, and my map said that it only takes 15 hours to drive from Denver, Colorado to Los Angeles, California. I don't know. I've never been. But anyway, we will go with 30 hours because for the sake of the book, but I don't think it's really 30 hours. But the fact of the matter is, anyone can find out, yes, it takes 30 hours to get from here to here, right? What you don't expect is that William refuses to fly. Really? I didn't know that. Maybe William is your friend and he tells you that he's going from Denver to Los Angeles. And you say, wow, okay, cool. And then he says, but I refuse to fly. What? You're going to drive 30 hours? So, okay, so here's our example sentence. You see it in the chart? Read along with me here. It says, although it takes 30 hours to drive from Denver to Los Angeles, William refuses to fly. Okay? So does that make sense? We have two pieces of information that seem to be a contrast. They seem to not go together. One piece of information is known. One piece of information is surprising because of what we know. Because we know it takes 30 hours to drive, it is very surprising that William would refuse to fly. Another, because we know the cake looked delicious, you will be very surprised to find out that the cake tastes terrible, right? Let's do one more. Because does every sentence with an although clause, does every sentence with that have to begin with although? Let's find out. You see the next set of examples? So the known information. And I hope you are reading this out loud with me, okay? Get some good practice reading in English and speaking English. So, Jake sets his alarm clock every day. Okay, that's normal. The unexpected information, Jake often wakes up late and misses his bus. Okay, so because we know that Jake sets his alarm clock every day, it is surprising to find out that he still wakes up late, often wakes up late and misses the bus, right? So, what could our example sentence be? Jake, let's read it together. Jake often wakes up late and misses his bus, although he sets his alarm clock every day. So you see how although can also be in the middle of the sentence? How would we do that with this one? What would we do here? So for this one, think about it. We would start out by saying, what? The cake tasted terrible, although it looked delicious. Okay? So, let's see. So if we will do the known or not surprising piece of information is that the cake looked delicious. The surprising information is that it tasted terrible. So in this one, the first clause is the cake tasted terrible, and that's the surprising piece of information. And then the not surprising piece of information, it looked delicious. So, are you with me? So, in both of these sentences, whether although is at the beginning or it's in the middle, which piece of information does although always go with? You're going to put although with which one? The surprising information or the not surprising information? The cake looked delicious, although the cake looked delicious, although it looked delicious. So although always goes with the not surprising information. Okay? Whether it's at the beginning or in the middle, always put although with the not surprising information. Does that make sense? Okay, let me check that you can see that in the video. Aha! Okay, good. Very good. Whoops. I hope I didn't mess that up. Okay, let's keep going. You see the exercise. You see the exercise in number 2. Oops. Number 2 right here. This is very similar to the other exercises we have done. But read with me the directions, okay? Number 2A, write. Which sentence is surprising or unexpected? Circle it. Okay, so that's the first step. Circle the surprising piece of information. Then, combine the 2 sentences. Use although in front of the sentence that is not surprising or unexpected. Okay, so for number 1, they've already done it for you. It says Mrs. Sanchez can't operate her digital camera. She read the directions many times. Which of those 2 pieces of information is surprising? Well, I think maybe what the book is saying is that it is surprising that she can't operate her digital camera, because maybe we assume that she read the direction many times. Okay? So, she read the direction many times is not surprising. So that part will go after the word although. So you see they wrote here, I don't know if you can see this, but they wrote Mrs. Sanchez can't operate her digital camera although she has read the directions many times. Does that make sense? Let's try another one. They've done number 2 for us as well. Okay, sentence number 1. Mrs. White's car has a GPS system. Sentence number 2. She gets lost all the time. Okay, so which piece of information is something we know? Something that is expected. Okay? We expect, or we know, we can see that Mrs. White's car has a GPS system. So the surprise is that she gets lost all the time. So it is surprising that because her car already has a GPS system, she still gets lost all the time. So which one will go with the word although? The first one. Although Mrs. White's car has a GPS system, she gets lost all the time. Does that make sense? If you have any questions, as always, please email me, send me a message on WhatsApp. I'm happy to help you. But now go ahead and pause the video and finish these sentences, okay? All right, did you finish them? Let's go over the answers for the rest of them. Okay. Number 3, the first sentence says Mr. Green doesn't use his microwave. Number 2, the second sentence, he paid a lot of money for it. So which piece of information is expected or normal? Not normal. Expected or not surprising? He paid a lot of money for it. You can probably know if a microwave is expensive or not. So the surprise would be that Mr. Green doesn't use his microwave. So I hope you circled that one. Mr. Green doesn't use his microwave. So then the sentence would be, the complete sentence for number 3 would be, Mr. Green doesn't use his microwave, although he paid a lot of money for it. Right? He paid a lot of money for it is the clause that is expected. So it goes with although. Got it? Number 4, I'm just going to read the rest of them, okay? Number 4, although email is fast, Mr. Chung doesn't like to use it. Okay? So which one of those would you have circled? Mr. Chung doesn't like to use it, right? That's the surprising information or the unexpected one. All right, number 5. Although ebooks are very popular, I prefer to read paperback and hardcover books. Okay? So which one of those would you have circled? Which one is surprising? I prefer to read paperback and hardcover books. That's an opinion, so it's not a fact that you can know. It's an opinion, and therefore it is surprising. Okay? Number 6. Miss K had urgent... Sorry. Start over. The answer for number 6. Although Miss K had urgent business in another state, she refused to travel by plane. I think the book may have made a mistake. I'm sorry. I think it should have said, although Miss K had urgent business 1,000 miles away, which I guess is in another state, but it should have said, although Miss K had urgent business 1,000 miles away, she refused to travel by plane. Okay, so which one of those would you circle? She refused to travel by plane. Very good. All right, almost done. Number 7. Although my house has central air conditioning, I prefer to use a fan when it's hot. Okay? And which one would you circle? I prefer to use a fan when it's hot. All right, number 8. Although Ben never sets his alarm clock, he still gets to work on time. All right, did you get that one? Which one did you circle? You should have circled, he still gets to work on time. Okay, finally, number 9. Although all my music is available online, I play my CDs on my CD player at home. Okay? Now, which one is surprising there? Definitely, I play my CDs on my CD player at home. Do any of you still listen to CDs? I admit, I have some CDs that I still listen to, but I mostly use them in the car. Okay, let me tell you about the next exercise really quickly. Okay, we're gonna, woohoo! I knew that would happen. I don't know if you want to see, this is the stack of books that I have setting up my camera. Okay, here we go. All right, are we good? Really quickly, I'm gonna tell you about the next exercise. It's on page 73. So, I know sometimes in person, this type of assignment has been a little bit complicated, and a little bit confusing. So, you see here there are 6 pairs. What I want you to do is pick at least 2 of them. You can definitely do more if you would like to, but you can do number 1 is already done. So there are actually only 5. So pick at least 2 of them. You could do maybe number 2 and number 4. You could do number 3 and number 5. You could do number 5 and number 6, whichever ones you prefer. But at least 2 of them. And here's what we're gonna do. You choose a pair of pictures and then make at least 1 sentence about the pictures. And in your sentences, you need to include although, or, here's a new one. You see the useful language box right here? It says, even though is stronger than although. And though is a less formal form of although. So, you need to use either although or even though in your sentences, and use the verbs in these boxes here. So read these with me in the gray box. Clean, find information, have, listen, use, wash, write. So there are, I think, 7 verbs here, even though there are only 6 pairs of pictures. But so you will pick one. Let's look at number 1, the example. So you see in number 1, there's a picture of a laptop that says, Dear Ken. And then in the next picture, there's a piece of paper with a pen and some envelopes. And it looks like someone has handwritten, Dear Ken. Oh, I forgot to tell you, all of these pictures are supposed to be about Mr. Chung. Do you remember in the last lesson we talked about Mr. Chung? And he said he preferred to write letters by hand rather than use email. So, one sentence you could write about the pair of pictures in number 1 says, even though Mr. Chung has a computer, he prefers to write letters by hand. Okay? Does that make sense? Even though is basically the same as although. It's just stronger. So your homework is to go ahead and pick at least 2 others. Maybe 2 and 3, 3 and 4, 4 and 5, 5 and 6, any combination. Pick at least 2 others and write at least 1 sentence about them using although or even though and one of these verbs. Okay? Please reach out to me with any questions. Oh, and when you write these down, it would be great if you could either take a picture of what you wrote and send it to me on WhatsApp, or email me what you wrote, and I will be happy to give you feedback about your sentences and maybe hopefully explain any questions you have. Okay? That's it for this lesson. Thank you.